You guys good? Thanks, Julia.
I'm Julia Schofield, and this is my senior project presentation.
Give it the old click.
You gotta click it first and then the arrow.
Okay. This is my essential question on how can I get a sensory pathway for students? If you don't know what a sensory pathway is, it's basically a colorful detail on the floor and sometimes the walls where students can kind of follow it, and a lot of the times they'll jump, just follow directions. And a lot of the time there will also be the alphabet, which they can read, and numbers that they can count. This is also geared towards kids with sensory issues, however, it could be used by all. So this is a little overview of what I'll talk about today. I'll talk about why I chose this project, what I hope to achieve, getting started, fundraising, the pathway design, receiving the pathway, adhering the pathway, successes and obstacles, and my final thoughts. Why did I choose this project? First of all, it's helpful for students. I wanted this at Clyde Brown, and kids have a lot of energy that they need to get out, and they might not focus in the classroom, so even like if you do have PE, it might not be enough, so this is just a little extra. Also, Mrs. Carr, who is a faculty member at Clyde Brown, has wanted a sensory pathway since late 2019, maybe early 2020. She messaged my mom on Facebook asking if she could make a sensory pathway using a Cricut machine, which is a machine that can design different shapes, and it can cut the shapes out into different materials such as vinyl, which is what she planned on using. However, because of COVID, my mom couldn't finish this project or even really start it. So when I heard about this in September, I decided to take the project on myself. What I hope to achieve and get out of this project. I just wanted a good sensory pathway for students. I wanted them to use this on their own without being told to, and just really enjoy it. This is the mission statement at most public schools. The words bolded in red are kind of geared towards my project. I just wanted the kids to grow personally and socially by using the pathway. And hopefully using the pathway would support them academically through getting their physical exercise. This would also kind of be a co-curricular activity because it's outside of the classroom, and they would be more engaged by using the pathway. And hopefully as they learn how to use it, they'll become self-directed and respectful outside the classroom. Getting started. So I started meeting with Ms. Lund, who is the behavioral specialist at Middlewoods Public Schools in September, because I wanted to get started a little early. I also needed to create a pathway design and get approval from the school to actually do the project. So this was my plan for the year. As I said, I needed to meet with Ms. Lund and Ms. Django, who is the principal at Clyde Brown. I needed to fundraise and activate a pathway during April break, which is what Ms. Django and I decided after a few meetings. Research. So physical activity improves academic performance with a 6% increase in test scores and 20% increase in on-test performance. So hopefully the sensory pathway will help these kids. But I ran into my first obstacle around January. I couldn't make the pathway myself using the Cricut machine. I talked to a family friend and who owns a business in making sensory pathways, and she said that the vinyl that I wanted to use only came in white, which wouldn't really work because I wanted a colorful pathway. So I decided to research some different retailers to find my own pathway. And I want my pathway to be nature designed with logs, lily pads, bear paws, etc. I wanted this because nature can kind of help improve your happiness, and also the mascot at Clyde Brown is a bear. So after researching, I found a very similar design through the sensory path, and they have, like here, they have numbers on a tree, logs, lily pads, frogs, the alphabet, bear paws, and other stuff. But I also need to fundraise because this project would not make itself. This project would probably cost over $1,000, like $1,650. So I created a GoFundMe, and I shared it with family, friends, and on the Mills Public Forum on Facebook. I also emailed the sensory path, and they were able to give me the set of blogs for free, so that totaled up to 1,500 now. And I got the money around, I want to say March. I received the pathway in early April, and it came with the path and a box of fidget toys and a shirt that I could wear. I ended up giving the box of fidget toys to Miss Django, who could give it to Miss Lutton, so students that she worked with could use them, because I would not use this myself. Then I also ran into my second obstacle. The floor wasn't waxed for D-Day. So I planned on doing this on the Tuesday of April break, and I woke up around 7 a.m. and I planned on going to Clyde Ground at 9 a.m. And around 7:30, Ms. Django emailed me saying the floor wasn't waxed. And obviously, I didn't have much time over break to do this project, and I wanted to graduate. So I waited later throughout the morning, and she said that the floor was finally waxed, and I could actually do the project now. So once the floors were waxed, I cleaned them once again to make sure there was still no leftover dirt. Then I cut up pieces of the pathway, and I taped it down before I adhered it, so I could kind of figure out where I wanted to put each part of the pathway. Then once I found out where I wanted to put it, I cut up the back of half of the path, so that I could only focus on one half, and there would be less air bubbles that way. And then I would stick each part to the floor. So I also ran into another obstacle before I actually stuck it to the floor. There was limited space. As you can see in the picture on the left, it's kind of skinny, and I did not want to have put too much in the pathway, because it would just be too much. And so after taking things down, I took some things out, and I talked to Miss Django about this, and she agreed to keep some of the stuff that I left, and she would do the rest of it in different parts of the hallway over the summer. And this is just a video of what the pathway looks like. Here are some numbers that they can kind of step on or just hop on. Logs that they can jump on with frogs. And the alphabet that they can kind of like hopscotch on. Successes. I was able to adhere the pathway. I was very stressed on that Tuesday morning when I got that email, but it was all set after that. The pathway also came out nicely. There weren't really any air bubbles besides one in the numbers, but that wasn't that visible once you looked at it. And students like it. I emailed Miss Django, and she told me that she would often find the kids using it after going to the bathroom. My mom also has a brownie Girl Scout troop, and apparently the kids love it and get excited over using it. What I got out of this project, it helps students. Whether you have sensory issues or not, you're able to use it and they enjoyed it. I was also able to solve problems on my own. I had a few obstacles, however, I was able to get over them quite quickly. I was also able to work on communicating with others. If you don't know me, I'm very quiet and shy unless I'm with my family. And I had to email and meet with many people several times throughout the year, and I was able to become stronger with that. I would also like to say thank you to Ms. Lutton and Ms. Django. I wouldn't be able to get started with this without them. Mr. Engler and custodial staff for allowing me to do the project and clean the floor. My parents for motivating me, and my sister for letting me present this last night at 10 p.m. This is my work cited, and